There you go. You guys should be able to hear me now. Hello, my beautiful people. It is nice to see you. Yes, I kill my mic on one screen but not the other. So I hope you guys are doing well. It is the afternoon show. I promised you guys we would come back. We've got quite a bit to go over, but we're going to be staying fairly on topic with our... Hold on just a second. Let me see about making that. I guess we could bring that in just a little bit. Hold on. I'm trying to get this flickering away. It's driving me nuts, so we'll just do that. There we go. A little bit of it. Anyways, I finally got the chat box. As you guys can see at the top, we finally got some chats up. I'm still working on it. Well, you know, I can only do little bites here and little bites there because I'm very, very, very busy. So we're just going to continue to work at it until we get it right. But I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime, and we've got a lot to go over today. Some stuff that really isn't too good. Everything that we go over is pretty, you know, not good. But we've got three major cases that we're still monitoring and covering, and it's the Sebastian Rogers case. We're still kind of tuned in and plugged in with Jaden Spicer to try to find a little more details about his case. We've got Giovanni Pelletier and Lilly and Jack Sullivan from Nova Scotia. And so we're going to be talking about all of those. Plus we have additional stories to go over of stuff that's in the media that we haven't had an opportunity to see. However, it is still ultra important. And let me make sure, oops, I forgot to add my screen capture. I took it off because I was modifying it. Let's see if we got it. Oh, I didn't want that. Hold on here. That's not what I want. Now the question is, which window capture? Why isn't it giving me my window display? Probably because I'm already in here, so it's not really going to let me, let me take that off until I fix it. It's not really going to let me do my thing. Hold on here. Let me see if I can get this fixed. Properties. We want the display, but we want window. And it's just not giving me my windows. So it may not... discard. Okay, let's not do screen capture. Let's just do a browser. Maybe it'll let me do that. Well, we might not be able to play, may not be able to show. I may have to read everything because it's not allowing me to really show you guys something unless I'm on, I guess we could do something like this. I'll put it back on and see if it's, but I have a funny feeling it's not going to look right. Oh well. We'll make it through. I'm going to have to share my screen somehow though. So bear with me guys. I forgot I deleted one very I wonder if it's still on Jack. Maybe it's still on. There we go. I'll use this. There we go. I'll just use a different scene and it should still be up. We still have our chat box up in this scene as well. So here it is. We have a serious situation kind of going on in Florida right now where there was somebody allegedly unalived, and now we're concerned about a baby. So this is the case right here. I'll read it to you. Cops fear baby may be in danger. They're not explaining how these people are related to them, and here's the photos right here. Those are the people that they are looking for right now. This is coming out of Florida, and Florida authorities fear a 5-month-old may be in danger as they search for a couple traveling with the baby and wanted in connection with a murder of a victim reported missing a week ago. Deputies say Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office is searching for Alfredo Carballo Gonzalez, 32, and Arely I may be butchering their names, and I apologize. Alvarez Cabrera, 27. They believe the pair is with the baby. The authorities are wanted in a killing of a 37-year-old Dalen Felites. Again, sorry if I'm mispronunciating it. Who went missing on August 3rd from Hialeah, a city just north of Miami. He indicated that he would be meeting an acquaintance but never returned home. And again, you know, here you go. It looks like these might be the baby's parents, and they're concerned about the child. That's kind of where they're probably appealing to the public to get this child, you know, safe, and to get these people behind bars. Again, they are wanted in a homicide. So it's nice to see everybody this evening. Lisa B. Always, Eeyore Blue, Donna, Little Orange Man, Kathleen, Groovy Gal, Deanna, it's nice to see you. Dawn, Faye, The Real Me Too, Jet's Mama, Jennifer, it's nice to see you. Jules, Lady Freedom, Raw Narratives. I'm laughing. I got the notification when was just complaining I never do. That's YouTube for you. That's YouTube. Carol, but also, you know, sometimes you need to change your notifications to like subscribed or, you know, custom, and then turn them back to all, just to play around with that every now and again. I don't know why it does that, but I noticed that a long time ago. Tammy, it's nice to see you. Mayflower, I think I said, Groovy Gal, did I say hi to you? I think I did. Tracy, Jennifer, Carol, No More Lies, Show Poodles is up in the house. It's nice to see you. Lady 7 Up, well, hello, my love. I hope you're doing well. Nitwit, it's nice to see you. Pebbles, good evening, good afternoon. Mama Bear, Stephanie, it's nice to see you. Cindy, Frank, it's nice to see you. Kind of hard to see. Maybe I should put this. Oh, it's not going to make it. Oh, thank you, Melanie. That's really sweet. Show some love for Betty, everyone. Aw, I appreciate it. Kathleen, it just jumped up on me. Eeyore, Nitwit. Aw, thank you guys. It's nice to see you. So, we're just going to be going over a few cases, and then we're going to kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this, the conversation. I'm not really sure even what direction we should even be going in with Lilly and Jack Sullivan, for a variety of reasons. It is so bizarre to me, and I feel like the children are right there. And then I hear the situation, you know, with Jaden, and I keep thinking, you know, I always wonder, and just bear with me. Hey, VA, it's nice to see you. Karen, Indiana, it's nice to see you, my love. I hope you guys are doing well, me and you. But I always feel like we can always use some information from one case and apply it to another. You know, and I feel like a lot of these criminals, I mean, there's just only a limited number of things you can do with a person that's incapacitated for whatever reason. Again, very limited options when you need to get rid of something. So I think that we could apply some things here, even to Sebastian's case, even to Lilly and Jack's case. We've heard, you know, it sounded like Daniel had to explain while he was wet and muddy that morning when it comes to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. And he explained it, and he was running through all the rivers and streams, and I'm just thinking, you know, I've done a lot of searches, okay? I have wading gear. I have gone into water, but it hasn't been anything other than we needed to look. You couldn't see from the banks. You had to kind of get in, like, murky water and stuff like that. But we were searching I don't see a normal person that's out there right when they disappear going into the water. The reason why we went into the water is because usually we're behind by about a month. Sometimes we're behind just a few days, but typically it's a few weeks we're behind. That means any type of footprint, shoe print, impressions are typically very, very much degraded, if not gone. So we don't have any indicators. If I was out there the day, like we were out with J.J. Rollins in Brooksville, I think is where we were. Brooksville is where he disappeared from. When we went out there and searched, you know, last thing we were looking at is, I mean, we were looking for footprints, we were looking for a lot of things, but none of us were diving into waterways and searching the waterways. And I just don't understand that, because again, unless there's footprints near the embankment, then why would anybody be going into the water? And I think I've had that complaint and that question since I heard Daniel say that he was running around, you know, searching the streams. He was into water up to his waist, and I'm like, okay, that's a clue, waist deep water. And then now we're finding out on the back end that there was this 5-gear motor for 5 hours, from midnight to 5 a.m. 3 different trips out there. And then we're backtracking to Jaden Spicer's case, where his mother allegedly says she over-medicated him. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure we've all had children, okay? Or children in our house, or children that needed medication, or we babysat children where we were instructed to give a child a medication or a pill every XYZ hours. We have some experience. Over-medicating someone is maybe giving them 2 pills, right? Instead of 1, you give them 2. They might be a little groggy, they might have some diarrhea, God knows what it does to you. But one thing I doubt it does to you is cause you to die for 1 extra medication or 1 extra dose. I hardly believe it's going to be enough to kill a kid. And I think that's important, because she said she unintentionally and accidentally overdosed her child. If it was accidentally, why didn't she call for help? That doesn't make sense. Because accidental medication, it believe it or not, it happens all the time. People get scatterbrained. They give you a piece, you know, your child a medication, and then you turn around and you're getting busy and you forgot you did it and you gave it to them again. You know, many parents have done that. It hasn't been life-threatening. And if it is, they usually call the doctor or an ambulance for their child because they unintentionally did it. And how would she have known that she unintentionally medicated him if he just didn't wake up? Or she just went in there and he was deceased? It seems like she would be crazy wanting to know what happened to her son. So much so that she would most likely call law enforcement and say, something happened to my son. I came in here and he was cold to the touch. That maybe somebody else had done something to him. And because she automatically knew that she over-medicated him and that she was the one that unalived him, then she's the one that has to go and bury. Like, the act of actually burying your child in a freaking rubber tote. That doesn't sound like she accidentally did anything. I have a funny feeling we're going to find... I don't know, you know, we're waiting for the attacks, but let me just say like this. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that he has other injuries. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But you know what? I was reading some information today about the case, and it sounds like both her and her husband both went down and gave statements. And they both gave similar statements. I'm curious as to why the husband hasn't been charged with anything, because it sounds like he was there, and I'd have to think if he was there, then why isn't he charged with anything? This is where I'm getting confused, because both of them went down and were interrogated. That is definitely one thing I absolutely 100% heard and read in a news article. So it is mainstream media. Is it true? I'd have to assume that it's going to be more true than our opinion. Hey Denise, it's nice to see you. You'd be hysterically screaming, in my opinion. I'm coming into some conversations, so let me go up here and see. Hello, guys that are all coming in. It's nice to see you. Thank you. Common Sense. Oh, is Seth here? I didn't see Seth come in. Well, there you are. Well, hello, Mr. Seth. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are doing well. And then we have, not getting too far on a tangent. Oh, good gracious. Who in the heck is at my door? Hold on, guys. Let me mute you guys just for a second. I apologize. Nobody ever comes here this. It was the neighbor bringing me some shrimp rolls and a snack. I think he was just trying to find a reason to bring my plates back. Oh, all right, Delilah, you got to stay off my shrimp rolls, but you can have some of the mac salad. Okay, guys, we're officially back. I apologize about that. Unexpected. He never comes over this late because he usually eats around 2:30 in the afternoon. Does anybody like these things? The real me too knows I'm not a protein bar person. I'm not one of those protein bar people. So I don't know if those things are good or not. I got one sitting on the table now. All right, let's get back to the show. I apologize about the distraction. We also have another situation that was breaking today that's super, super sad. A mom was taking her child to a bus stop in Louisville, Kentucky, and was literally shot dead right there at the bus stop in front of those young children. And while I have to assume that this must be a section of Louisville that is high crime, it's still sad and sickens me that this is not the first, not even in recent days. They've had gun battles at that area, I think I read 3 different times in the recent history. So my point is why does it have to take somebody losing their life at a bus stop when you have all this crime and violence and there's no police proactively stationed there? When they know that this has gone on around these children. These are children. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's in the blessed ghetto. If children can't walk to a bus stop without seeing flying bullets, you put law enforcement in there. And I'm at my wit's end reading some of this stuff. This poor child watched her mother get gunned down. Just going to school. And on the first day of school, another shooting took place right on that same corner. But hey, we don't have a crime problem in the United States, do we? Apparently not. Another one is a man is accused of setting a Baton Rouge home on fire with 4 children inside. It's in Colorado. No, excuse me, another one. This is one that you guys would like. I'm going to put this up on the big screen. Hold on a second. This is from my home state. I don't get to say kudos too much, but I'm going to say it on this one. So I just found out we had a Colombian drug lord in Florida, and he actually espoused to a judge in another hearing that flaunted it, that he had unalived 29 people. And from what we're hearing is he's now going back to Colombia, and he's going to face the Colombia justice system, which sounds like it's horrendous, and that they're willing to act. So kudos to the Florida police, the law enforcement that did this. I read this. Let me see which Orlando. This is from Orlando. This is not even in Miami-Dade. This is straight Orlando. And so a kingpin, a drug lord, a Colombian drug lord. And he's accused of bringing pounds and pounds and pounds of Coca-Cola across the border and into our country. And he's living 2.5 hours from Bullhorn Betty. One thing I don't screw with is it's cartel members. I don't play with the drug lords, okay? I mean, I don't mind the murderers, the artists, the gangbangers. I don't mind any of them, okay? But when you start going to the drug lords and the cartels, I'm out, okay, babe? You want your own FBI, federal government, I need your help. But I'm not doing it. I'm not running the story from the front of this home. I'm just saying. I'm not doing it. Any other. I might. Any other. But you know they got the trap doors even out at that the sidewalk. So I'll be walking on it with my picket sign. Get the hell out of my neighborhood, and it's gonna go clink. Then the cougars come. Those under-cavern Florida cougars. You don't want to screw with the cartel underground, cavern cougars. Okay, it's a little scary out here, even in Orlando. They got like the theme parks and stuff. He can just borrow a dinosaur. He's a cartel member. They probably own like wrecking balls. They could probably just knock their way in. Have we had any? I just heard that a tanker, a gasoline tanker, was just jacked in. Was it California? So I think people are starting to jack some gasoline, and it makes you wonder what do they need the gasoline for? I saw it. I know I saw it. The truck pulled up. They surrounded. One person came in from the other side. They surrounded it. They opened it. Next thing you know, they left their pickup truck there, and everybody from the pickup truck runs out and gets into the big rig cab as they kick the driver out, and they take off with the tanker. Everything. The whole rig. Yeah, I'm interested in it too, Lisa B. Always, about the Arkansas stuff, but I don't know what it is. Like, I understand the other two, but it's the Arkansas. What is that with the Arkansas? If there's some, does anybody remember any connection in the Sebastian Rogers case that connects Arkansas? I mean, Arkansas has some backwoods, y'all. And the reason why I say that is because when we're talking about Mama Rissa and Hindsight and BMW Coupe, when they're talking about, whatever happened at the Texas Roadhouse, this, operation, just the weird vibe that we're getting every time we watch the stuff at the Texas Roadhouse. If it was an organization, could they be from Arkansas? I mean, has anybody called around Arkansas? I know at one point we called everywhere. But do we know if we made those calls? I mean, I'd have to think some places were touched in Arkansas. What was it, Springsdale, Arkansas? Oh, I think if you guys you don't need to worry about it. I think the whole Myrtle Beach thing is, if you guys remember, Katie and Chris took off for a motorcycle rally with that crazy lady that thinks she's a content creator of missing children, that Dutchy chick. She's so helpful that she literally has more time to flip me off in her Facebook or wherever she is than she does even advocating for children. So it's just, yes, Springsdale. I called Missouri, but I never thought of Arkansas. Well, maybe we need to get into I mean, it wouldn't hurt for us to call the facilities again. You know? Who knows? It might be a network of people that move the children around. I mean, we have to think that Chris and Katie, you know, they're smoozers, right? They're bullshitters. But somebody did. I think it was Laura from Facebook. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was somebody else. But they had a picture of Katie in one of her interviews, and you know me and the eyes, those dark, soulless eyes, and she's got the dark, soulless eyes. And that's never, ever good. And it's on X. So if you guys go on X, I think if you do Katie Proudfoot or Sebastian, you'll be able to see the post. But they've got her face right there. And when you look in her eyes, they are as black can get. I mean, they're evil. All types of evil. And we see those looks, and it's this picture that just gets me. So go on X and check it out. Maybe I'll find it and put it up on our next show. Oh no, Seth, that was terrible. We are in the end of times. What does Seth say? Am I missing some stuff? 5 charged in the death of 11-year-old. That's just insane. Which 11-year-old? My husband's dad, Arkansas, and his family's background running moonshine. Yeah, moonshine's was definitely a big thing. I think it is, but I think it's more legal, or, I mean, people bottle the stuff. I mean, I think they legalized it, or they, you know, turned their moonshining business into a legitimate business and got regulated or whatever, because I know that you can go to stores and places and buy the mason jars of moonshine in the stores. So I don't think that people are selling bootleg moonshine in the stores. So I have to think that they're, you know, some of the stuff is lawful now. Oh, so that Arkansas might be related to some type of interesting. Springsdale, Arkansas is where they caught the Devil's Den guy. Is it? I didn't realize that. Huh. Cybersecure biz partner. It says, Sigh, going to have to learn everyone all over again, says Eric with an H and a low voice, LOL. Well, I want to tell you, if you guys haven't noticed, all your names, your usernames are a little different. YouTube has changed some stuff around, and now they're trying to make it where we'll be able to actually tag each other on the mobile app. I don't know anything about coding or why the need to do that is, but maybe it'll change back once they get it figured out behind the scenes, but I think it has something to do with the ability to tag people from the phone. Guys, you know what? It's like we're hearing like, wow, Sal, so sad. How can anybody do that to anybody? Hey, Nicole, it's nice to see you. It's an evil world. I mean, look at what's going on in Bibbs, Alabama. You want to talk about pure evil? That case there is pure evil. The charges, I can't even cover, like, I want to cover that case just to show what these monsters do. And I can't cover the case because the facts of the case, just to have a press conference of the case would get that you know, us in trouble on this platform. Well, I mean, I think they'd strip them on. I don't think we'd be in trouble. I think they would have to put, you know, like an 18 and up and remove the monetization off the video to run the story. Like, it's that graphic. Just them telling us the charges is so graphic because these people have been charged with frontal as well as backwards. So, and these are children undergoing that. Children. And 4 of those children were handed over by their mom and father or stepfather. It's almost like and it's so sick. And it was all for money. They didn't care whose lives they destroyed. They didn't care. Most of them were probably substance, or have major substance abuse problems. But you're talking about some twisted dark web stuff. And and this is what the worst part about it is, if this one was found, there's got to be more out there, a lot more out there that haven't been found. Look how well they were able to cover this up for a lengthy period of time. People in backwoods or in desolate areas and where things aren't, you don't have a lot of neighbors, you guys need to be looking out for your neighbors even more. If you're seeing children coming and going and you're seeing them really upset or hurting or whatever, or you hear screams or cries, you got to remember sometimes they don't even have their parents to run to. You might be their only saving grace. You might be their only saving grace. So if you see something, say something. Just horrible, horrible stuff. And it's all over. It's all over. All over, I'm not going to say that it's... This is another one that caught the attention of Bullhorn Betty. And again, it is truly from my area. This guy here has been officially arrested by my sheriff for attempted homicide. He tried to unalive his wife, and she stayed alive by being drugged behind the boat. What do you do? So a Florida man was arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder and domestic battery after being accused of trying to kill his wife while they were out on the boat. Doug Scott Nair was arrested Monday, July 21st, according to reports out of ABC. According to the probable cause affidavit, Manatee County Sheriff's Office, Naylor went out to the water with his wife of 3 years on Sunday, July 20th, and departed at 7 a.m. that morning. The victim said her husband's demeanor seemed off, saying that he was not as talkative as usual and appeared to be angry. They stopped their boat roughly 33 miles off the coast of Bean Point, an area 57 miles south of Tampa, and the man began fishing. However, he was irate after his line snapped, according to legal documents. This is crazy, guys. To avoid an altercation, the wife said that she got into the water and removed herself from the situation. While floating on a pool noodle, she said that she was holding onto the rope attached to the boat. However, per the affidavit, she noticed that Naylor untied the rope, put the boat in gear, and drove off without her. The woman said she was afraid. He was leaving without her. He was leaving her out there to die. I want you guys to understand the calculation he put in this. He talked her into going out on the boat. He was being very quiet, not himself. He was trying to invoke an argument. She didn't want to engage, so she gets in the water in the middle of nowhere. And he was literally going to let her be eaten up by sharks. That's attempted murder. That was calculated. It was thoughtful. It was his demeanor. People that care or say they care about you are more willing than a stranger danger to hurt you. If you are being hurt by somebody you love, please seek help today. Because I guarantee this woman's probably been getting the crap knocked out of her, believing it would never be her until it was. And she's lucky to be alive. Lucky to be alive. And of course, on the Florida Turnpike, we do have a situation where a semi jackknife. And one thing I didn't realize is when there is an automobile accident, they actually have automobile homicide investigation, a motor vehicle homicide investigation. I thought it would be, something like a death investigation. But it's weird because it's a traffic homicide investigation. And, you would think that it would be a traffic, death investigation. Because not all deaths are homicide. But I think it's the way the homicide is defined that make them use that terminology. But that's also why they do those traffic reenactments to see who was responsible for an accident. I don't know. I really think that these... I'm always on the interstate. And I got to tell you, one of the most nerve-wracking, not all of them, I see very good tractor-trailer folks out there that aren't impatient on the road, that realize that they are driving a death machine, and they take that responsibility very seriously, and they would never do anything to jeopardize the risk or the lives of other people. And we thank those truckers that are out there that keep us in mind when they're on the road, right? But there's also people that are out there on the road that are hotheads, that are always have a chip on their shoulders with these 18-wheelers. They're constantly eating your butt. They're putting you and your family's lives in danger on the road. And truckers, I know that you guys take that stuff seriously, and it bothers safe semi-drivers when they see people do that. Now, do they typically get close to themselves? Of course they do. But their trucks are designed to handle them. And usually they use their own wind to help, reduce some of that cost. And they use each other's devices to help drag them. So I understand that there is needs for some of the stuff. But that's between them and other semis. That's not usually between them in a car. And I've seen all too often semis being way, way, way too close to vehicles. Not that this is what happened. What happened was, it sounds like the semi jackknife. When the semi jackknife, it rolled on top of a car, killing the person in the vehicle. And that's where we are. So be very, very careful. And I also want to tell you, I was just reading, and I don't remember what state it was in. Cincinnati, maybe? It was in one of the states that I just realized. Do you guys know that they had a school bus roll over twice in 3 days at the very same turn, taking young kids to school? None of them were injured, thank God. But I think that they probably either need to change the bus style or reroute that bus, because clearly the bus can't properly make the turn without capsizing. It sounds like it's top heavy. I don't know if you guys read that too, but I can't even remember which article I read it or which county it was out of. But yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our conversations. I do have a couple more things, like a missing North Carolina woman was found in a toolbox with a gunshot wound. The autopsy reveals, which is pretty interesting. And this was people that we haven't even heard about. It's a Georgia man by the name of Zachary William Ramsey, 35, and he is accused of murdering Candace Afrecht 41. I think I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her name. And it's in Lincoln County, North Carolina. But they said that she was shot. Obviously, he ended up getting put in jail shortly after that. And that's really all we have for other news right now. So we're going to get started. As many of you guys know, the earlier live was related more about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case and the explosive demeanor of hashtag Christopher Proudfoot. And we're going to still be going down that realm because Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers still has not been found. He's been missing for well over a year and a half. We've had literally so much inaction from the mom and the stepfather that it's not even funny. Very limited searches. Much like Lilly and Jack Sullivan case here. And again, also much like Jaden Spicer, I don't remember hearing his mother going out and helping in any capacity. I know that some of the family did not believe that she would potentially or possibly be capable of harming her son. I don't believe the medication theory, but, I don't have a lot of information to support any other theory or to challenge her on that. I just don't feel it probable, because why didn't she just call law enforcement or poison control or seek help? And even if she woke up the next morning and he was cold to the touch and deceased, that doesn't automatically mean that she over-medicated him unless she knew she over-medicated him. Something does not sound right, does not feel right. So we're going to have to let Jaden Spicer's case kind of play out and just keep our eyes and ears to the ground. If we start hearing any, motive, means, and opportunity type of conversations coming out, because we're not going to get it from law enforcement. Due to the statutes and stuff like that, they due process rights and stuff, they shut up. And so we're going to be going down the realm of doing some intense searches kind of through social media from people that are associated, and see if we can make heads or tails of anything that they're hearing from the, boots on the ground. If you guys are familiar from this area and you guys would like to keep me up to date, you can send me some up-to-date information or your contact information to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. What I think is apparent with all three of the cases that we debut regularly on this show, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, Lilly and Jack Sullivan, and now we're monitoring the case of Jaden Spicer, the one thing that is the takeaway for me is the fact that the suspicious people in these missing person, with the exception of Jaden, he's deceased and has been found and recovered, is the parents. There's several things that are common in all of these cases. The parents, the fact that the Department of Children and Family Services were involved. All three of them had custody, some type of custody dispute in them. All of them. So these are just things that I'm noticing from one case to another. For example, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, there was a divorce and a custody fight that happened between Katie and Seth. The mother got Sebastian. Shortly after the mother got Sebastian, he was SA'd. She never gave him the proper treatment or the proper therapy for that. But no matter what, however you look at it, they didn't really have the Department of Children and Family Services really involved in their family that much in California, with the exception, I would assume, related to this SA event. Now, could they have had the Department of Children and Family Services involved? They may have, because, here in Tennessee, it took Seth suing or just having to get a lawyer involved to get those documents to find out that his son was being harmed by, or allegedly being harmed by, Christopher Proudfoot and or Katie Proudfoot. So they weren't forthcoming in Tennessee. How do we know whether or not they were forthcoming in any other state that they lived in, including California? Now, I don't know if Chris and Katie only lived in California and Tennessee with Sebastian. But either way, we know that he was harmed in California. And we know that when he came here, he was being harmed by Chris in his home, his current home, where it resulted in 5 Department of Children and Family Services reports or visits from the Department of Children and Family Services in Tennessee. Then you kind of go to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. They're in a different country. They're in Canada. They're from Nova Scotia, Canada. Lansdowne Station, very desolate area of Nova Scotia. It used to be a booming town, but it's since past its prime, and there's not a lot of people that stay out there because of no income, because of no real life. They have no jobs. They have no money. It's just a very rural and poor country lifestyle. And there's only about 100 people that reside out there and call that home. And they want to live off the grid. Their houses are destitute. They're falling apart, as you saw. Daniel's dad's house. We've learned about, we know where Daniel's mother's living, in that RV that has tarps for a roof. We didn't realize that there is holes, literally holes in the floor of the house that Lilly and Jack were living in. And this is Nova Scotia. This is a colder area. And they are literally using plastic to try to cover up the holes under the trailer so they can survive. It's just insanity. I don't know who would ever want to live like that. And people are like, well, some people don't have a choice. I truly believe everybody has a choice. Everybody can be very, very resourceful if they want to. It's just how much work are they willing to put into it to change their life. Everybody has to have dreams. And if you lose your dreams, then you got to find a way to get your dreams back. But that's just no lifestyle for children to be in. That had to have been hard on everybody living there financially.
Your life doesn't always run on time. At University of Phoenix,
our
online classroom is always on, giving you the freedom to learn when and where you want.
Let me turn that off. There we go. There was just I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but just a commercial started popping up in the background, and it was like blaring. It scared the crap out of me. And then, so we had the Department of Children and Family Services, most likely for, marks on the kids. Sebastian's was similar. And then you have Jaden, which had a tumultuous type of situation. I mean, his grandmother had to take care of him. Whatever he went through as a baby, she had to take custody of that child to keep that child safe. And I'm sure she wanted to be there every single day with her grandchildren and her grandson, but she got ill, something happened, and she lost her life. And so now Jaden was in limbo, and the courts got involved and sent him back to the house with the mother, the previously drug-addicted mother that appeared to have turned her life around. From everything that everybody was saying, she had not been in trouble in like a decade. I don't know how true that is. I will be getting started and looking into her background and her husband's background, of course, here in the near future. I've just been very, very busy working on other stuff. So it's just been hard to do some thorough research on any of these cases over the last, week and a half. It's weird because I wish we could find a way to have a standard. Like if you have the Department of Children and Family Services at your home and you're reported again within XYZ date, I think the child should be removed at least for 24 or 48 hours pending a thorough investigation. I think we need to have some common sense stuff, but where do we put the children. That's going to be the problem, because children cost so much money. And when the state takes a child, they take financial responsibility of that child. So you're talking about our counties and our states being the deep pockets that attorneys go after when something happens to a child while in the system. So we have to be very cautious of that, because it could cost us, it's already costing us a lot of money. So what do we do? You know what? In all fairness, I think they need to have, it's going to sound awful, and I know people are probably going to wring my ass over this, but not like this, but like this. Or, I think the way to put it nicely is a secured apartment type complex, where you have XYZ amount of bedrooms in a dorm with a house mother and an aide. Something like that, where they can be cared for. Nothing's going to be perfect. And we're going to still have to you're going to have psychological profiles on all employees, because it's going to take a special kind of person to be employed at a facility like that. It's going to be very trying. You're dealing with children that have been SA'd, that have been abused, that have mental illness because their parents were drinking and drugging while they were pregnant, and other things. Don't ever count out the abuse that some of these pregnant mothers undergo at their hands of the abusers that have an effect on that child inside that womb. And when they deliver that child, you don't realize the consequences of those beatings until that child gets a little bit older, and you realize that the child's not, developing normally. So you get children that are like that when you take them out of these homes, and those children require extra special services, and those services cost the taxpayers an arm and a leg to have, because it's all about protection, covering the county, the state, and everything else's butt. It's no excuse, but it's just trying to identify what do we do with all these children that are in the system, and how do we make it better? And I really do believe we need to have something more, because this revolving door of CPS workers going out to houses 3 and 4 times, by the time most 99% of the homes don't see CPS once. For you to see them 5 times in 14 months, it should have taken the second, maybe the third visit tops before that investigator should have been like, wait a minute, we haven't dealt with this family before, and now it's one, boom, boom, boom. Something's going on here. Let's just remove Sebastian for 24 to 48 hours. Let's do an investigation and see what kind of family plan we can put together to get everybody back together in one big happy family. But nobody ever does that. Nobody ever is proactive when it comes to our government. They're always reactive, and by the time we're reactive, it's too late. And meanwhile, people like us that really care about these kids, we're left devastated each and every time we have to run these stories about these missing children at the hands of their terrible parents that CPS was already involved with, that had the authority to remove these children and failed to do so, which ended up resulting in the missing most likely being deceased. It's always the same story, just different faces, different names. Maybe some slightly different details. Most CPS workers don't even follow through with what they... Yes, but that has to do with being overworked. And let's face it, some just have rotten attitudes, right? Some, they're just not paid, and you get poor service. It's hard because social worker degrees are very expensive to get. And the pay that they get going in here hardly barely affords their degree, to pay off their degree, to pay off their student loans. And then you're overworking them for peanuts. Something's got to be done, because we're going to keep getting the poorest of the poor social workers involved in the Department of Children and Family Services until they start bringing up better pay and better benefits. And trust me, we have the money. If we can be literally putting billions and trillions of dollars overseas and we've got the money, I'd rather see it go to our children than to Istanbul or God knows Pakistan. Okay? Sorry, not sorry. You guys can hate me, love me. I don't really care. That's my stance on it. We've got the money. We've got the money. And you know what? If we spent the money where it needed to be spent, we wouldn't have all this money to send overseas so we can tax the rest of our Americans, out the nose so we can keep sending money across the seas, but never fixing the real problems that we face here in America. So, hate me, love me, I don't care. Again, we have the money. We should not be having these. We have the money to pay social workers a fair wage. I'm sorry, we do. If they quit giving our money away, we would have plenty of money. You can make more at McDonald's. I know. Somebody was complaining about a Subway sandwich. And they're trying to blame it on tariffs. Look, okay, it's Subway. I'm sure most of the stuff is made right here in America. The reason why your sandwiches are $30 is because you got $20 minimum wage. And I hate to break the news to you. You can raise the minimum wage up to $40 an hour. It's just going to jack up our costs. And at the end of the day, you're still making minimum wage, dumbass. The common sense. The common sense. All you did when you wanted $20 is jack up the rates, jack up your rent, jack up your electric, jack up your... that you're still making a minimum wage. So in order for your minimum wage is not going to give you any more than their $5.75 minimum wage gave you. The difference is now you're not paying $500 for your rent, you're paying $2,500 for your rent. Just saying. But hey, you can say that you're making $20 an hour now, right? I mean, there is that. There is that one positive thing that came out of the $20 minimum wage. So, next time you want to blame Subway or tariffs, Subway on tariffs, or tariffs on Subway or whatever, you know what I'm saying. It's not. It's the employees' pay that's causing those food items to go through the roof. Just saying. It's going to be those tariffs that bring down our taxes. Just give it a moment. Give it a moment. People listen to a lot of the crap that's going on here, and you guys need to start learning economics. And you guys need to start learning how things work financially. Because once you have just a little bit, and I'm not a master by any stretch of the imagination, but you can see for yourself, they prey on the ignorance. Okay, I'm done with that conversation. Getting back to Lilly and Jack Sullivan, Sebastian Rogers, and Jaden. It comes down to our avocation for common sense solutions to the Department of Children and Family Services, but there has to be some metrics. What is going on? You know what? When you go to Lowe's or Wendy's or McDonald's or Burger King, what's the one thing that you can say? They're identical, right? You go in there, they have the same signs, they have the same tables, usually the same patterns in the restaurants. That's the key, is having that same product. However, whenever we go to governmental entities, or say the Department of Children and Family Services, it could be different as night and day between Maryland and Texas on how they treat those kids, what their protocols are. That's not a recipe for success. A recipe for success is having the same policies and procedures and protocols in place for everyone all the time. Having metrics. Having one system for all. But it's all about the metrics. Okay? How many times did you go to the house? What did you do? Why were you there the third time without pulling that child? Clearly there's something going on in this house, and we need to have some counseling before we have reunification. We're not talking about taking these children away for 6 months. We're talking about taking them away for 48 hours and getting a family plan and just separating them for a couple of days so the reunification can be more positive. There are things that can be done that can be less on the people, less on the taxpayers, but still have amazing effects in resolution. Does that mean that this way will work? No, of course not. But it's still talking about other common sense solutions besides hitting our head against the wall and doing the same thing over and over and over again. Obviously, the Department of Children and Families Services were right in being inside these homes. It's just their prognosis was wrong. And that's the problem I have, is why do they keep getting the prognosis aspect of it wrong? Because many times those children need to be removed, and they're not. And it's a day late and $1 short because, boom, children go disappear. And it's like, oh, well, they just walked out of the house. And then you find them in a plastic tote buried, 19 miles away on a desolate road. And you just keep thinking, if that one Department of Children and Family Services social worker would have just trusted their gut and just did the damn paperwork and saved that child from their house. Buried in a shallow grave. Every one of the children that we have covered this week had the Department of Children and Family Services in their home shortly before they disappeared. That's sad. Even Summer Wells. Shockingly enough, Summer Wells had the Department of Children and Family Services the day before. And a Department of Children and Family Services supervisor pulled Summer aside and spoke only to Summer. I'm absolutely convinced Dawn asked Summer what was asked of her. And I'm absolutely convinced she disappeared less than 24 hours later. I have always wanted to know what Summer told that investigator. And we will never know. May have been nothing. But it scared somebody. The very next day, she was gone. All right, guys. I do appreciate you all being here. It has been lovely for those that have been participating. We have, rebranded the show. We have really upgraded the appearance of the show. I'm investing a lot of time and resources into having a better viewing experience. So if you guys would like, please don't forget to share me around. If you guys remember, you guys used to write all the time to me and let me know your perspectives on these cases, what you thought, some other cases. You guys used to send me articles to support some of your... I'm missing your emails. I'm not feeling the love from the coffee club. Where's my emails? Where are you guys bringing me stuff? I haven't even gotten the... Well, no, Debbie she always says hi to me. There's a few of you guys that still keep in contact with me. But I'm starting to feel lonely. No, I'm just joking. Now I'm throwing the guilt trip on real thick, aren't I? I'm getting that guilt trip going real thick. So please consider, if you guys have anything and you guys want to talk directly to me, the best place to do that is Gmail. When I get, when it starts getting a little crazy, I can't start responding to everybody right away, and I know that probably frustrates some of my audience, but when I can, I do. So that's the best way. I love communicating. I love hearing different perspective. It helps guide me in our conversations. It helps me kind of bring you guys. Jet's mama says, ouch, Betty. Love you too, hon. I'm going to reach out about the event for Sebastian. Okay, well, this the event for Sebastian, we've been discussing it. I think we... Yeah, I think we just need to get the team together, get everything. And you know what? At the end of the day, we'll do what we can do. And even if we can't have it directly at the governor's mansion because of insurance and other requirements, we can have it on the outskirts. And it'll be just a little different. We won't be able to bring the sponsors and the vendors in. But we can definitely do something there for the governor. You know, we got Marsha Blackburn that's now put her hand and her hat in for the governor of Tennessee. And like I said, if you are from Tennessee and we're voting for a governor, we need to get it right this time. And I want to hear common sense law and order for you guys. You guys deserve better than you're getting. Okay? I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm telling you, you deserve better. You deserve better than to know that July 1st, 2025, they change child R from a misdemeanor to a flippin' felony. You deserve better for your children. You deserve better. You deserve to be protected. You deserve to have common sense laws. You deserve your law enforcement executing those laws. The good old boys' days are over. They are over across this country, and we are in everything because I go all over the place with these crime cases. And I sniff around, and when I sniff good old boy stuff, we do what we can to shut it down. It's no good for anybody. The only people it's good for is the good old boys that has taken all your money and maintaining that power. We know about them purse strings, and we're cutting them. So this is a situation that we need to start really... You guys know my loyalty and love for Marsha Blackburn. But I want to hear her talking about the reality of the criminal justice system. It is a hot topic because we need law and order in this country. And right now I'm looking at new laws just being enacted in July 2025, July 1st, 2025, that should have been done 30 years ago. That is a major problem for this gal right here. We want you guys safe. Go to the Capitol. Make state law. You know what? I would go to the I would go to DC without a blink of an eye. I would. The problem is I don't like hostile areas. I don't intentionally try to put myself into harm's way. I do enough putting myself into harm's way to cover these cases and be around bad guys. And I do, you know, the work that I do in the political realm. But usually when I'm in the political realm, I've got a lot of people with me. And of course, in Washington, I'd have a lot of people with me as well. But still, I don't feel like putting myself in additional danger. I'm kind of over my dangerous era until we have a reason to be dangerous, like a criminal. I heard my hashtags are lethal. Just ask Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. The hashtags are the most terrifying part about Bullhorn Betty. I want my laughy button. Where the hell's my laughy button? I can use my laughy button at this point. I'm just saying. The hashtags are lethal, okay? So, anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you guys really soon. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys are hearing audio issues, crackling, stuff like that, I'd like to know about it because I've got to try to, you know, start working out some of the kinks on this new system. But I really, really like the quality. I'm hoping that you guys like the quality. I hated the pixelation. Because I've got nothing but HD flat screen TVs through my house, and they're huge. And I'm sitting on high quality TVs looking at a blurry face. That's frustrating when I'm paying as much money as I am to have a clear face. So hopefully I'm clear on all your devices. I hope you guys are enjoying the new streaming aspect here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. And now I have the ability to do crap like this that you see above me, this thumbnail here. I gotta tell you, this is probably one of the longest. You wouldn't believe how long it takes me to do graphics. This took me probably about, I don't know, 45 minutes to create. You have to type all this stuff in. You got to go find the emojis. You got to put the lines in. I even had to go find the closed sign to put on the school. Okay? I had to go find a sick kid in bed. But I do like it. I do like it. And I'm going to start utilizing this. And once we get the green screen worked out, like I'm going to be... Oops, wrong way. Hold on. Let me get my options so I can pull it out here just a little bit because you can still see the wall right there. But I'm going to get it where we're going to have all of this, and I will be able to have, like, we'll be able to have something, and I might even be able to put a video. I don't even know if I think I can put a video behind here. Like, I think we can do literally, like, the world is our oyster on this program. That would be really awesome if I could be, you know, here describing what, you know, just a lot more flexibility. And best leave Betty alone while she's doing it. But I know, and we finally got the chat box. Now I just got to try to figure out the you know, the gift box, you know, thingy, where you guys can see what you guys do, you know, because it kind of sucks. I feel bad. You guys do so much, and we can never see it now that I'm not on. I'm speaking horrible English. We can't really see it on this platform without StreamYard. So I'm trying to create our old StreamYard, but better. I just don't want the technical issues. So far, our camera hasn't dropped. We haven't had a dropped camera. We haven't had my audio drop. It's been a great day. It's been a great day. It's been a great week. So, again, just share the new platform around. Let people know we're changing it up. We're changing it up. Can I do it? Oh, well, there we go. Hold on, let me fix my chat box. There we go. Each channel gets... What? Each channel gets $1,000 in donations. Who? Call for action. Need 10 good YouTube channels to sponsor an event for Sebastian. Ooh, each channel gets $1,000 in donations. Okay, yeah, that would be nice, but that would still be hard because, again, that's a lot of money. And not only that, but you know, when I get out there, it's the way everything works is I'm going to be the one renting the tents, the chairs, the tables, you know, and if God forbid anything disappears, anything gets destroyed, you know, we're on the hook for that. So I'm just trying to make sure that we do the event without, you know, bankrupting the channel. That's all. So we might have to get together and see what we come up with. I just wish we could get people out there. I have a funny feeling this is going to be something, if we plan it right, that would force or make it more palatable for Marsha Blackburn and Bill Lee to be there, because we're talking about crime problems in Tennessee, and we got two people that are in the governor's race. I would think that the governors would want to, you know, make this a political thing. So we'll see. We'll see. There might be still some room in here. It's just the more I'm looking at this and the more I'm being counseled on this, the more I'm realizing that, you know, it's a lot. You know, we got to really cover not that anything ever really happens at these events or anything like that, but you know what? You always hope for the best, but you always prepare for the absolute worst, and that's where I'm at. And the absolute worst is a little scary for Bullhorn Betty, financially. So we've got to figure out how to protect us, and I think the only way we're going to be able to do that is either a nonprofit or an LLC, or maybe somebody else's nonprofit or LLC. Taking the insurance aspect of it, we pay for it. You know, we do that, but I just don't want the liability. Personal liability. So that's the problem. That's really the only problem. But we could set up a nonprofit for just this event, or a venture, some type of entity just specific for this event to get the insurance needs. I do believe we could do something like that, but again, it's money. So if that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do. We need our BHB family to show up if it's possible. For them numbers are powerful. It works. Yes, it does. Everyone have a blessed night. You too, love. You too. We're going to go ahead and close out the show. I kind of talked about everything I wanted to do. There's still some other stuff on Sebastian's case, Jaden's case, as well as Lilly and Jack's case that we really didn't talk about because I kind of had a structure for the show, but I decided to make it kind of more interactive and engage with you guys a little bit more on this show. And I think I'm going to do that in the evening if possible. We may start doing that in the morning. I'll play with the shows a little bit and find out where it's better suited. But I don't want just to have a... Is there a date yet? No. I wanted to do it... Honestly, I'd like to do it by the 2-year milestone. I think the 2-year milestone... for Sebastian, because it is inspired by Sebastian. So I'd like it to be the 2-year or near the 2-year milestone for Sebastian, if possible. But again, we've got to look at the calendars. We've got to look at the events. Maybe there's another place that might be more suitable than the governor's mansion. But I'm wanting the governor to hear and see us. That's, whether he comes out and talks or not, I don't care. I just want him to see us. I want them to read the signs. I want them to know that these people matter, and we've got to start coming together and figuring this out and doing something, because what's been going on is not working. There has to be more. There has to be more. But I'm not willing to settle another, and I've got no room to talk because I'm not from Tennessee. I can't vote in your elections. But I'm damn sure not going to sit on the sidelines and not be talking about it, because we've got an opportunity to get a governor that's law and order. We want to make sure that we have it right. Is it going to be Bill Lee? Is it going to be Marsha Blackburn? Is it going to be another person from Tennessee that might, be the cream that rises to the top? The cream of the crop? I don't know, but I tell you what, my ears will tune in when people start talking about what they're going to do about the crime and what they're going to do about the laws and tougher crimes for criminals that do violence. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm not just looking for that in Tennessee. I'm looking for that for the whole entire United States. Because let's face it, we're covering people's lives every day in 50 states. And of course the country of Canada. We've got one case there right now. So that needs to be this needs to be it. We have a huge true crime genre. I mean, they got Crime Con for crying out loud. I mean, we have a huge network of true crime content creators, experts, just a whole host of people. We are huge, and we should be able to make a difference, because at the end of the day, what is our call? It's to end violence, tougher penalties for violent criminals. I'm not worried about the kid still in the Snickers bar. Trust me, I'm not. I'm worried about the child that is being abused. And that's where we need all 50 states. We need to be hearing our politicians talking about what they're going to do about crime across this country. And that needs to be our dog whistle. All of us. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Our dog whistle needs to be tougher penalties, especially for our children and our elderly. Just are at disadvantaged. I'd like to see the violence just stop all over the place. I'd like to be. Wouldn't it be so good, Betty knitting, or having a Betty cooking show versus a true crime show? I'd love that one day. I would love to see our crime go so low that it there's nothing to cover. I'm moving to Pokemon, Florida. I think you meant Polk County, Florida. It's Denver. I can do Denver. There you go. That's what we need to do. We really need to start listening to these things, because it's starting to affect our children. It's not affecting us. It's affecting our neighbors, our children. We're hearing about this stuff going on. I mean, just earlier today, a mother was shot dead taking her child to the school bus. We're not a third world country. We're the United States of America, and we've got a mother getting gunned down walking her child to a bus stop. If you're okay with that, please raise your hand. I doubt I'll see one hand in my chat, because that's not okay. No matter where you are in the United States, everybody deserves safety. Everybody deserves safety. They deserve knowing when they put their head on their pillow at night, they're going to wake up in the morning. Well, to a certain heart attacks, things, natural occurrences do happen, but you guys know what I mean. They're going to wake up tomorrow not being unalived by stray bullets. It's not okay. Okay? There's no place, there's no community that's rotten enough that deserves that lifestyle. They deserve better. And I hope they understand. They deserve better. They deserve a lot better. Anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. We'll see you tomorrow.